So we should be live both on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. This is Rick Rock and Brock Cassidy for Real Fridays. Every Friday at 12:30 is Real Fridays, where industry experts and industry sort of insiders talk about the mortgage business, the week, headlines. And occasionally we have, guests that come on the show. And of course, this week we're going to be having Samir. Samir from Flare Labs is joining us here shortly. He might be having some technical difficulties, but looks like he's just logging in right now. But how you doing, Brock? What's going on, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. You're at your home. You moved to Boston, so you're in Boston now, right?
I am. I'm in Boston. I'm heading up to Portland, Maine for the weekend in a couple hours. Short drive now compared to.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, and you're a quick flight to Presque Isle. I love it.
Yeah. There's the one daily flight from my hometown. Goes back and forth to Boston.
So you're 1 month in?
Yeah, give or take.
God, that's great.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
No, I mean I'm only an hour and 20 minutes from you in Boston, so we'll definitely have to get together. Boston's such a cool place.
A bunch of Boston mortgage industry folks. Mark from Silk Title, Mark Trachtenberg, put a cool event together a week or so ago. So already got to do one mortgage industry event thing in Boston. So that's been cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Samir, man, good to have you on board. We're happy to have you on Real Fridays.
Yeah, it's great to be back on the show, and great to see both of you guys again.
I know Jeremy's on Detroit time, so he always comes in about 3 or 4 minutes late. So hopefully he'll be joining us here shortly. But we always take a few moments at the beginning of every episode just to talk about the industry and what people are seeing and what you're seeing. I'd love to hear just from your perspective, because Samir, you're a Stanford grad student, a research guy with AI, starting a company called Flare Labs and to apply your AI research. But from I kind of look at your perspective as kind of a secular perspective, like Jeremy, Brock, and I are in the church, and we know where all the bodies are buried within the church, right? We know the good things about it and some of the negative things about the industry. And we'd love to hear just from your perspective, what are your observations about the mortgage industry as you've poked around it, but mortgage and real estate as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great several months here, working with a number of teams, both on the mortgage side, real estate side, as well as some on the lending side. What we're noticing is that there's just so much adoption, so much affinity for, for AI products and AI automations. And I think there's a great opportunity here, to really boost, kind of the opportunities that, many of these teams, could capture.
Yeah. What has surprised you the most? And I'll turn it over to Jeremy and Brock in a second for follow-up, but what has surprised you the most about the industry?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's so many different, aspects to, what folks are working on. I think generally, the real estate market is picking up a little bit more. And so, many of these teams are finding that, there's more people that are on the market looking for home loans, looking for, places to buy or sell. There's an uptick in sort of folks that are looking for various kinds of loan products. One that's been interesting is, buy before you sell products and other sort of loan offerings.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of products out there for sure, and it can be confusing for the consumer. And there's a lot of new products that are emerging just to help kind of just blanket, the opportunity for all consumers, whether they're immigrant homeowners, Black and brown communities, they could be first generation homeowners, or there could be experienced, homeowners or legacy homeowners who are buying homes for their second and third home. But I'd love to learn more. I'd love to learn more about Flare Labs and what you're doing, with the AI and Jeremy's kind of our resident legal and technology sort of consultant. He works a lot with mortgage companies and tech firms across the country. Of course, Brock is a really visible leader in real estate tech with his company with NewsZip. So what do you guys? How can we bring Samir through the fire here, guys? What do you think?
Well, I think one of the things that's been really interesting is, Samir, your comments about where to focus first, real estate versus mortgage. And I think what I had a sense of was everybody wants to ask about AI. There's fewer people who then know what they want to do about it. And real estate agents seem quick to adopt something that is like discrete or in their world or in their ecosystem, but they don't really adopt consistently or broadly. It's very fragmented. And then mortgage adopts really broadly, but way late and way after they've had the opportunity put in front of them 10,000 times. And then everybody's quick to follow the leader in mortgage. That's been, I guess I'm throwing out there to Rick's point about like, it's a thesis. Has that thesis rang true for you, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely, the adoption curve is different between real estate and mortgage. Finding that a lot of real estate agents are very quick to adopt new technologies that can help them, bring more opportunities to their door. What we're finding is that, I mean, I think that there's many opportunities that are on the table that, these teams can definitely leverage technology to help, help streamline. There's a lot of tools out there that are doing, great things, such as Real Scout, existing CRM platforms. But right now with the rise of AI, there's actually an opportunity for providing teams both within real estate, mortgage, with software that can actually help streamline a lot of the conversations that are just tough or difficult to have, maybe repetitive or tedious, but that's no longer an issue kind of with AI being able to nurture sort of, past clients, being able to attend to people that are looking into various kinds of loans, whether it's a loan or other kind of loan. Yeah.
So do you guys partly go to market by, I guess this is kind of a go to market question. Do you guys look at those like technology, like channel partnerships? You mentioned Real Scout off the bat. There's a lot of companies in that category of like somewhere between CRM and nurturing and database marketing and things like that, across both real estate and mortgage. A lot of them, HomeBot's one we work with a lot. Home Scout's another one we work with a lot. Real Scout we've worked with occasionally. Like a lot of them are cross between, there's a LO tied to it and there's an agent tied to it. So I guess there's kind of like a joint go-to-market strategy if you do that. But do you guys sell through and partner through like technology partners like that to make?
Yeah, one of the really exciting updates, since we last spoke, is that we've actually partnered with Fly Homes, and Fly Homes is a innovator in the buy before you sell space. So they have a unique buy before you sell offering, and partner with many lending teams to offer that as like as a product that loan officers can provide to their clients. And so what we found is that, by partnering with companies like Fly Homes, like, Realty.com, and others that are sort of in the space, we can actually provide additional benefit to end loan officers and lending teams that are looking to kind of supercharge their origination, supercharge, kind of the volume of offers that they're able to service, or like clients that they're able to service every month.
I actually have a Stanford question. Like at Stanford, with all the discussion around AI, right? Like, what would you say to be the verticals that are the most talked about? Is it mortgage and real estate? Is it manufacturing? Like, what would you say to me when you guys go out for a beer? Like, what do you guys talk about with respect to like, hey, we got this great idea. Like, here's the greatest way we can get traction and start a company and make some money.
Yeah, definitely not mortgage and real estate. That's probably the probably one of the less talked about or last talked about topics, but generally, interested in kind of the latest trends and latest developments in AI. So all of the things that are coming out around voice, the voices are becoming extremely natural. You're able to sort of customize and fine tune, tailor voices to sort of be able to deliver phrases in very, very specific ways. And just generally, the capabilities of reasoning models as well. So, the underlying OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini models are becoming increasingly good. And so I think that's where a lot of the interest is like, how can we actually leverage the underlying technology that's just getting better and better pretty much on a daily basis to build something that's truly extraordinary for, for a use case or for a problem that's a real world sort of problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that brings up that I've been kind of trying to learn more about is the ability to differentiate and how much you have to know to help or control kind of your instance. Because it feels like if you're not careful, we're just going to end up with call assistance, call customer service, and other messaging, including marketing, that just all kind of sounds the same. Now, maybe that's where we are today with humans and best practices anyway, but I think like there is a risk of that where everybody's kind of all these giant models are kind of like doing the sort of same theory on what people want to hear. And so as a result, it just like becomes all the same. And is that something that you're controlling for, thinking about? Is that truly a risk, or we're not there yet?
Actually, I have a quick aside before you answer that. Some ancient history in the industry from 8 years ago or 10 years ago when all the like SMS qualification was like really hot in the real estate space. Agentology, my friend founded a company, Ava, that they sold. It was kind of like a much more niche, probably version of what we're seeing today with voice AI for real estate agents. But it became such a thing that every real estate agent for a period of maybe like 2 years had the same scripts. They were sending the same text messages to the same clients, and it was so visible, and it worked, and they converted. But it became to the point that for a decade now, it's been a joke of like, okay, like don't use like the agentology scripts because like people are sick of hearing them. So I feel like you guys probably have a lot more flexibility with today's technology and today's code base than even 6 or 7 years ago. But that there is like an inundation risk when like the whole industry relies on a couple of vendors with a couple of scripts. So
yeah, I think it's a really great point, and definitely something that's like an existential thought that I've always had is that, hey, as AI becomes better and better and more teams, more and more people start adopting these technologies, there may be a new sort of world or a new sort of way that people communicate. But I think that there's really two sort of aspects to this. Number one is like, yeah, I mean, the world is going to change regardless of regardless of whether you want it to or not. And so people are actually going to be used to talking to, digital assistants. So that's kind of the first thing that I believe. And then the second one is that actually in contrast to the past, when a lot of these technologies were very brittle and very hard coded, you'd see the majority of these sort of software companies or AI based communication platforms were based on like very rigid decision trees, very rigid sort of like scripting patterns that didn't have much flexibility in the conversation. But right now, what we're able to see, because LLMs are able to reason and able to have like some thought, they can actually be a little bit more responsive and acknowledge what you're saying in real time over the phone. And I think that's actually like a very valuable thing, because if you mention a specific thing that might be happening in your life, or a specific thing that might be related to your overall home search, or overall overall sort of search, AI is able to tailor a very a more personalized response and acknowledge those nuances. That's just a much more human and in a much more natural sort of format than was ever possible before.
I wouldn't mind. You guys mind if we press Samir a little bit on? I wouldn't mind seeing the demo. Can we have him actually show us what it actually looks like? Is that going to put you on the spot, Samir? Would that be all right?
Yeah, I'd love to go through a little bit of what we're building. Yeah,
that'd be great. Let's do it. Let's just jump right into it.
Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and try to share my screen here.
So I think if you share yours, then I should be able to punch you into the stage, just like typically. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know if that works out.
Yeah, we can see it, bro.
Okay, awesome. So over here you can.
So this is just so we can understand. This is a pipeline management view of leads or contacts or prospects or consumers that a real estate agency, what have you, is has.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of a pipeline view of a real estate team or a loan team might be looking at. And we have an AI concierge that we deploy for these teams that can actually talk to and qualify prospects in real time. So these are potential buyers, sellers, home investors, loan applicants. And so you can see here that these are, kind of all of the active opportunities that the concierge has been able to identify. From every conversation, we gather meaningful information, such as time frame, that somebody might be looking to close on their next home, motivations for why they're why they're looking at this, whether they're downsizing.
All the pre-qualifying questions that a company would want to ask a potential customer.
Exactly, and this motivating information is pretty relevant, because obviously clients that are motivated to buy or sell a property are ones that that are active in the market and actually need help from a realtor or from a loan officer to get sort of the best offer for what they're looking for.
Yeah. And to be able to increase your conversion rates, right? So this is an outbound. So this tool, just so I can understand this would almost be a plug-in to any CRM, or it'd be an overlay to a CRM. It would pull the data from a CRM from past contacts that you have, and then let's actually go through a sample interaction with a real live borrower from the AI agent. And then I might have some follow-up questions, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the call.
Hi, Vivian.
Yeah.
Oh, hi there. This is Jesse, a digital assistant with Madden and Associates on a recorded line. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. I'm following up with you regarding the home search profile you submitted. Let me know if you'd like to opt out of additional calls at any time. We'd just like to know what it is that brought you to our website.
I've just been looking for the last 2 weeks for places in Eagle River, about 350,000.
Oh, I see. Is buying a home something that you're considering in the future?
Yes, we're looking right now.
Okay. What time frame did you have in mind?
Like I said, we're looking right now. We just sold our condo. It's under contract as of today, and we're staying with friends until we can find something.
Got it. We'd love to connect you with our realtor who can strategize a game plan around what you're looking for. Please hold on just a minute while I connect you, okay?
Okay.
I'll connect you now. Please hold.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the conversation that we're able to automate for teams across all of the opportunities that both come into the funnel, but also like nurturing past potential opportunities. As you know, real estate transactions happen over a longer time horizon. Things change over 3, 6, 9, 12 months when you have kids, get married, move for work. And so having these kind of like periodic touch points is a pretty important is a pretty important thing, so that you're always kind of building a relationship with your potential clients. And that's what we help with, with this digital concierge product.
So I'm trying to think about whether you've seen any trends or usage stats around how that call gets deployed and how ready the real estate team is or the LO team to take a warm transfer. Has that been a pretty good process of like they'll launch a campaign in the morning and be ready for those calls to come in throughout the day? Or how are you seeing, if at all, some of the usage trends?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sort of settings that we're able to toggle on the back end to make it usable and sort of most effective based on a team's workflow, a team's schedule, and so I can just quickly share some of those settings. So we have a pretty easy campaign builder where you can define a new campaign, whether you're targeting new incoming leads, whether you want to set up the assistant to handle customer inquiries that are potentially calling in, asking about various loan offerings or asking about various properties that that are under sort of your team's management, as well as just right off the cuff being able to load up a digital assistant that's specialized and tuned for conversations with buyers, sellers, investors on the real estate side. And on the mortgage side, just load up an assistant that's already sort of trained to have conversations about new purchase loans, refinance loans, HELOC, FHA loans, and other sort of conversations based on what a potential customer or consumer is looking for.
Yeah. I really love that. I love that you can break it down by product. So you can almost get a differently trained, autonomized sort of bot or autonomized agent for FHA loans, VA loans, for servicing related. If a consumer is delinquent on their loan, they can have a servicer could call and say, hey, Mr. Potter, I'm really sorry that you've been late on your mortgage. You're a couple days late or 7 days late, whatever it is. Is there some way we can help, or whatever instructions? So you can actually have customized bots in this way?
Yeah, totally. So, the bots are already customized right out the gate. And all you have to do is, turn on the bot to basically connect to your CRM or lead database, lead segment that, that might be looking for an FHA or VA loan or a HELOC loan, or on the servicing side, many sort of use cases there. Clients whose loans are nearing maturity. We have an assistant that basically goes and calls up those prospects to ask them if they're interested in renewing their loan or extending their lease terms.
Gosh, I'm finding that amazing. I mean, aren't you kind of blown away by this, but in the sense of the application of it, Jeremy or Brock, as far as like, I mean, how many, I'm used to, look, we have 600 loan officers with tens of thousands of records that lack follow-up, Yeah,
I think I've seen a couple things here that I think of as really innovative for people to start playing with. One is just sort of the most basic that you just mentioned, Rick, which is the servicing application, which I found at Rocket there were often customers who were actually nervous to get on the phone with Rocket if they had been late on a payment or are starting to become late on a payment, thinking, oh, I can't let my lender know because they might start activity or that might be bad, or there's a perception on behalf of a lot of homeowners that actually the lender shouldn't know, when all the regulations and most of the business practices at servicers are the opposite. They want to reach out. They want to help you. They have tools. It's just getting that contact. And I do wonder if that means people would be more comfortable talking to AI, actually, because they don't feel like they have to tell a person they're late on their mortgage. They're just working with a system. The system is kind of emotionless to a degree in their perception, even though we're trying to build these things to sound human, and they do. I wonder if people would be more comfortable because they would feel that human connection, but be working somewhat privately with the lender's tools instead of actually tell humans. So that's one piece that's interesting to me. Two, I really like this idea that Samir hinted at, which is, should we start giving people options? Like, who do you want to talk to? How quickly? We could have you on the phone with our rep immediately, or you may have to wait 7 minutes, 2 hours, or a day to talk to a person. And so I also think, like, we haven't explored optionality that much. It feels like the mortgage industry is trying to hide the fact that it's voice AI instead of just like owning who do you want to talk to. And it may take you longer to get your human on the phone, but are you willing to wait, or you just want to jump on and get some answers right now? We don't do a lot with like that fun kind of discovery process. We tend to pretend it's a person, and I'm not sure we need to, based on what Samir just showed us. Seems like we could just own it and send out some cool campaigns.
Yeah, for example, I'm thinking of like some of the processes we do for partners at NewZip, and in a lot of them we play like a very hands-on concierge role where we wouldn't use this, right? But then there are some campaigns where we're going to match a client with a real estate agent, and we need to know 3 more factors. We need to know when they're available. We need to know the exact couple of zip codes they're interested in, and we need to know maybe their budget, whatever. So we may need to gather 3 fields. This would be a perfect way to do that, and say, well, in order to set up your appointment with your agent, we're going to need this, this, and this on the digital assistant. So to Potter's point, I think that's interesting. Of like, what can you bite off where it totally makes sense to use AI because it's just information gathering, versus thinking of it as we're not going to have an agent, or thinking of it as we're not going to do some core real estate activity, but instead just bite off things that make sense to use digital.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that the ideal deployment is for use cases where really you're trying to gather just a set of information from a large number of potential people, and the AI is really tuned and sort of specialized for this task. But at the same time, it's one that is very hard for just people to be able to do, because number one, there's just a high volume of these sort of calls that are hard to make. And number two, it's hard to be consistent across like all of those sort of short calls. Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys keep going. I got to drop. I apologize. Samir, great to see you again. Keep up the great work. I know we'll talk soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, Brock, because I keep thinking of applications like, the company OwnUp that's in Boston, right? In part of their original thesis was you'd have a consumer, you'd have one of their client advocate or reps talk to or call the borrower to kind of like pre-screen them, collect some preliminary documents, prepare a package. So that way when it actually went to a licensed loan officer, it was pretty much ready to go. You're handing that loan officer basically a full application, and then you're paying OwnUp for a full application.
Yeah.
And it was very cost intensive to have all these sales reps and making phone calls and making sure that they're engaging with the consumer to collect the right documents. If you have one of Samir's sort of trained, automated reps reach out to say, hey, just send me this information. This is what I need. Engage with the consumer, collect what's been received, what hasn't been received, and then have that information, the consumer email it. I don't know if there's any email interaction with this, automated rep. It's probably just right now, just a call transfer scenario, but it'd be kind of cool for that rep to have an email box and then to have the rep say, oh, I just got your W-2 pay stub or whatever. Thank you so much. And you're still talking to the AI chatbot.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of the campaigns that it was all the rage a couple of years ago. There's some TCPA concerns with it, so I feel like it's not big anymore. But people used to do like voicemail drops where it would be like just script out the exact questions you want to ask and send it to all your clients that look like X, Y, and Z. That just get a voice. They don't even get a call. They just got the voicemail. That was I don't think that's much of a common practice anymore. But it makes me think of that, where you can just at scale get information gathering questions out to everyone that you need to. And maybe that's a good question. Like, does it also, can you tune it to leave voicemails as well? Can you tune it to like how many times to attempt, like all those types of like normal, like call center metrics of like call it X number of times, leave a voicemail the first time, does it get to that level, or is it kind of like one shot at how the campaign works?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for any of these systems to work, obviously it has to, it has to sort of, be able to handle a lot of these workflows. For example, handling, voicemails and being able to send follow-ups. And so, yeah, I mean, we handle all of that directly within the system. So you can set up very customized sort of campaigns that consist of a sequence of sort of touch points with a potential prospect, and combine both, call with SMS, link it to email, link it to, internal APIs or internal databases, and we send all the information directly back to, the CRM of choice.
Yeah. And to Rick's point about, OwnUp's an interesting example. We had Will, who runs their partnerships, on the show maybe a couple months back. What they do is a lot of companies sell, like, let's say 20, for the sake of argument, like $20, $30 mortgage leads, right? OwnUp, and there's some other companies in this space, obviously, put a twist on it where there was like, call it a $150, $200 lead that had a lot more information, had a borderline lender level conversation already. And I think they called them like post consult leads, and still active. We work with a lot of partners that use OwnUp, a lot of lenders who use OwnUp. So I think that's worked really well. The one thing that you may not have grappled with yet, or maybe you have, is like the line between like licensed activity and unlicensed activity. For example, everyone that works in NewZip's call center is a licensed real estate agent because they have licensed real estate level conversations. Based on that one call you showed us, I think you guys did a good job of keeping it like very clear. This is not a real estate agent or a licensed loan officer. This is an assistant level, digital assistant level call. That actually, I think to Potter's point before he had to drop, I think that actually makes people comfortable, much more comfortable to use it, because I think a lot of the fears are, this thing's not licensed, this thing's not a real person, whatever. But as long as you properly disclose that and whatever, then I think it gets a lot more comfortable. For example, in our call center, like it would be lining up an appointment to speak to our licensed concierge team, right? Not to replace that call, I think.
Tell us about Flair. Like, where are you at with your company and your client engagements and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think there's been some good updates since the last time we spoke. We closed on our seed round, so that's exciting news. We're kind of formalizing our team, looking at the next set of sort of hires, how to sort of compose the team in the right way, that we can help the most amount of people. And, we've started some great partnerships that we're very excited about, and both on the mortgage as well as the real estate side. And we're looking to continue to develop, the system further, build out more features, build out more use cases, and see where, we can provide the most value.
I mean, what's amazing about this, Brock, the implication of this is that like every client engagement, it could be a processor trying to find documents from the consumer. It could be a loan officer just trying to get an update on the housing search. Have you found a house yet to pull the trigger on your pre-qual? I mean, there's all these different workflows that strike me that are very manual right now that could all go away, that could effectively have someone do that for you as a true, reliable, competent assistant that's going to follow through, that's professional, that's trained according to company protocols and standards, and then it's constantly learning and evolving based on feedback, because of course all these calls will be recorded. This is where I did a post about 3 months ago around how loan officer assistants and processors and a lot of engagements with the consumer, those functions are going to be autonomized.
Yeah.
And this is a clear example of how this ball is beginning to roll. So I love this. I think this is great, Samir. I love your thought leadership on this. And there is a lot of talk about it. I just haven't seen any demos. You're actually the first demo that I've seen, like within the mortgage and real estate space. I know that there's stuff that's being worked on, of course, outside the industry with Google and with Alphabet. But at the same time, it's this is the first context-driven demo that I've seen. I'd love to see more of it, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Have you seen one, Brock? Have you seen any demos on this?
Yeah, I've seen a lot, but they have been more from let's say vanilla voice AI companies, right? Like that you can train, that you can create scripting for. I like that. It seems like your guys' go-to-market strategy is like very particular to real estate and mortgage, having existing scripts, having existing. So what I've seen is like, here's your voice AI, go ahead and train it type of things, which frankly we haven't done because we haven't had the bandwidth, and we're weighing different strategies on how to bolster our call center, mostly just hiring. So I think it's interesting, the go-to-market that you guys seem to have chosen of being very particular to industry, very pre-baked to industry. Because I've been really impressed with voice AI demos in general. It's just put the work back on us of to go train it. And we haven't done that because it takes time. So interested to see how you guys keep building up those playbooks or whatever you call them. But is that the plan to just get more and more use cases?
Yeah, exactly. I think we want to start with, AI communications, AI-based communications that can help, boost opportunities for all of the teams that we work with. But from there, to Rick's point, there's so many different avenues that we can go, and so many different like vectors that we can go down along that provide value. And these workflows, may have a voice component, but they also may have other components involved as well, such as connecting to real estate specific or lending specific data sources and so on.
I love it. Well, I love it. I can't wait to dive deeper into this, and it's certainly the segments of this this will be parsed up. I've been starting to use Opus clips for these interviews, and I'm going to start publishing it just to kind of create more and more traction for the show. But I think this is a good example and a good demonstration.
Yeah.
I'd love to go deeper sometime as well.
To that point of I guess like distribution type of things, are you getting out to like conferences and doing any kind of like industry roadshow type of thing now that you've progress you've made in the past 6 months or whatever?
Exactly. So now that we've kind of officially closed our round, and sort of building up our team, definitely have plans to attend many of the conferences, looking at Inman, which is just coming up, the Housing Wire summits and so on. So would love to meet with anybody at those conferences.
Yeah, I know a lot of my network goes to Inman. I'm actually not making it to San Diego. What is that, in 2 weeks? But for 10 plus years, I've gone to almost every Inman. So anyone in my network listening, it's a good shot there at Inman. So hit up Samir. And then, we'll be, I'm sure Rick as well. Rick's always good about being present in the industry, but I know I'll be at a lot of conferences in the fall.
Yeah. You guys should definitely hook up. I think a solution like this would be interesting for NewsZip, to be honest with you. I know I'm gonna engage on the NFM side, because I think from we have our influencer division where we have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of leads from consumers that come in from TikTok, from Instagram, that require the outbound. Hey, let's just do a pre-qualification before we connect with a live loan officer, and then you screen them. And then that way, at least the loan officer knows, like what it is that they're getting, So I think this is fantastic, Samir. Look forward to hearing more from you. I think this is a wrap from Real Fridays.
Yep.
And I'll be posting more about certainly what you're doing at Flare Labs and the product, Samir. This has been great.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I think it was a great conversation. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Samir.
All right. We'll see you in the industry.